So welcome back to Third Rate Content. Here we are, 3rd of January, and it's Storm Henk that's battered the country. But I'm going to be honest, it's just been raining since the end of October. But join us once again as we have a walk around Shrewsbury and have a look at some of the scenes of flooding and basically not good things happening. So buckle up and I'll see you out here. Yeah, again, the weir is just a bit of rough water. There is no weir so to speak of. But one of the positives of this terrible weather we've had, like I say, for the back part of 2023, was that the salmon, instead of having to struggle up the weir or the salmon chute, which is gone now, they just swam up and reproduced and then met their makers. So that was a positive for salmon, although not for people who wanted to spot the salmon jumping. Yeah, we have showed down there on Third Rate Content. This is like a horse's field, and that's Sydney Avenue just by the weir, and it's deluged now. And the Wearside Cafe, that is closed. Yes, someone did say to me earlier today it is the worst flood ever, but I don't know about that. It doesn't quite seem as high as the highest I've seen it, but we'll make our mind up about that as we make our tour today. Yeah, that little lane is usually quite a good barometer of how flooded it is here in Shrewsbury. Again, I think it backs up what we were saying just before. It's not the highest that I've seen it. But correct me if I'm wrong, there's plenty of flood videos on this channel, and it could be the highest. Yeah, because I haven't done my due diligence. I didn't watch any of them before I came out today. I just had a shower, got dressed and bolted out the door to cover the floods like a real on the spot reporter, third rate reporter. As you can see, traffic flowing down here at Castle Street. So it's nowhere near as bad as I think it was the year before last. Again, I can't remember. But things still flowing, infrastructure unaffected so far. Yeah, Shropshire highways out here, just at the start of Smithfield Road, Chester Street, Ellesmere Road. Obviously, no water on the road yet, but they're primed and ready to go when it's needed. Yeah, this place just behind me, the Terrace Bar, opened on in 2023. It's on the site of the former Lily's Tea Garden, which was only open in summer, in the summer months, but was prone to flooding. But it's great to see that they've actually built the terrace up. So hopefully, you know I hate that, it will be not affected by the floods. And it's still a few feet off the terrace at the moment. You can see the Shrewsbury Cricket Club over there, half underwater. Yeah, I was watching a Shropshire YouTuber that I watch a bit the other day. He was doing his 2023 end of year sort of summary, Aaron Telford, and he was saying how rotten the weather had been for the back part of last year, and I had to agree with him. It was terrible from the end of October all the way through November and all of December. There was very few outdoor filming days available. Let's hope 2024 improves. But yeah, it's one of the bad things about being an outdoor YouTuber, that you need the weather to work with you. I mean, I was lucky I had some stuff backed up and I did get away with some okay days, but yeah, it wasn't great at all. Yeah, I didn't do an end of 2023 summary. Sorry about that, guys. I sort of worked it in to other videos. I do a little bit of one on the upcoming video to be released on Monday, because this video's going to be a kind of ad hoc release. I'll probably get it up later tonight or tomorrow, like a bonus, but it isn't part of the usual third-rate schedule. But the third-rate content, Knights Templar, Holy Grail quest starts this Monday at the new revised release date. I mean, I'm going to be quite experimental with releases in 2024, see what works. But so early 2024, we're going to try releasing at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock on Mondays, because that does seem to be the peak hours for viewers of third-rate content. So let's see what happens anyway. Just bear with us and see where we go. Yeah, another business that could potentially be affected by the flooding, but hopefully it won't, because it is again built up a bit. If it gets really high, there's not much you can do about that though. Yeah, flood defences in full effect. Yeah, Frankwell car park completely deluged. Don't take a shot every time I say that. And the other part of the flood defences, keeping that car park dry. I was talking the other day, well yesterday actually, when I was having a couple of pints in the Telegraph, to a friend of mine who used to work for the Environment Agency, and we were just chatting about the floods, and he was telling me, you know, flood defences are great, they keep places dry, but they don't get rid of the water. They just push it on somewhere else, somewhere less fortunate, that hasn't got flood defences. So it's just one of those things, survival of the fittest, I suppose you'd say, or survival of the richest or biggest places that are affected by flooding. What do you think about it? Tell us in the comments if you've got an opinion. Thanks. Yeah, I know it's a really bad flood. Storm Henk causing chaos. But one thing I do like about January, and we're already 3 days into January when we're filming this, is the hope that it brings. I mean, by the end of January, you can feel and notice the nights getting longer. You know, Christmas and New Year are out the way, and you're just moving on forward to spring. Let's hope we have some amazing weather in 2024. There's so much uncertainty going around, but you know, third-rate content hopefully is a bit of an escape from the world, and I can tell you in 2024 on third-rate content, we're going to have an excellent year no matter what happens in the world. Thank you. Yeah, and on that note, I love these trees that blossom in January. You know, they give me a bit of cheer again. I'm just full of it. I must have problems, but I mean, I haven't really. But yeah, I think they always give me a perk up at this time of year. If you know what they're called, tell us in the comments, because I've completely forgotten. Someone did tell me last year in person, and it's escaped my mind in the last 12 months. Yeah, it looks quite ominous, that flow of water coming out of the alley here. And then we did see a couple of years ago it get completely flooded down here. I wonder what happens this year. Might have to come out again this week, because the Salopian bar has been very negatively affected 4 years ago, I think it was, or 3 years ago, very badly. But since then they have got flood recoverable interior, so they get back in business as soon as the flood water goes down, and I think that is so sensible. Welsh Bridge and Frankwell, traffic flowing into Frankwell. I think it's all okay at the moment. Sandbags out down here at King's Head Passage, the oldest shot in Shrewsbury. When we came down here last, I think in 2021 possibly, it was completely flooded, but it is quite flooded, and it may go up further. Who knows? Find out later anyway. We did have that really, if I do say so myself, that really nice shot that we used as the thumbnail when the river was all up to about just before the King's Head. Thankfully it isn't in early January 2024. Just going off at a tangent here, but this is all new, this sort of beer garden here at the back of Mardle. Can't remember what the bar's called. We're not doing a retail video right now, but it's nice to see this type of growth. See the boathouse just over the Porthill footbridge there. I think you could possibly still get over that. They've actually sort of made a footpath to it. Looks sodden though.
You want my glove?
That represents the Croix de Guerre awarded to the King Shropshire Light Infantry. But my great uncle won one of those by himself for rescuing a badly wounded French officer in the Battle of the Dorian 3. I have done a video on it, check it out. Of course, it's extremely tragic, just like the rest of World War I. Nice to see these memorials still out, sodden, because it hasn't stopped raining since November. But yeah. Yes, that is the first time that I have seen that done. But it looks extremely wet underfoot, but it keeps that bridge open to foot traffic. But obviously that bridge is only open to foot traffic anyway. So yeah, it's nice to see it open still though. And you might notice, I kind of used today as an excuse. I mean, do you know what? I got dressed and then set out. 10 minutes later, the sun came out, so I didn't actually need any of this really on. But I've got some of my outdoor gear. I'm not sponsored by anyone, not yet, or probably not ever. But yeah, I've got my Gore-Tex waterproof top on. I've got my trousers on. Nice lot of pockets on them, just what I need. And I've also got my footwear, North Face. I don't know if North Face walking shoes are any good, but you know, I can always get more, and it's great to have it all. So any weather, except really, really bad where I can't film, or really, really windy, I can get out there. I mean, I could walk right across that field, over Porthill Bridge, I'm not going to today, and not be sliding about everywhere like I was in my outdoor inappropriate gear. playing fields of Shrewsbury Girls' School, Deluged. Shrewsbury School boathouse. Too wet for boating today though. Sorry guys. Though to be fair, it's the wrong season for boating. Not that I've ever done any boating, thanks to any messing about on boats. But again, my friend, my mate from the Telegraph, when I was chatting to him about the floods, it dropped a bit more knowledge on me that a big complication for floodwater, getting rid of it or it going down in the river, is that when the River Severn, or any river I suppose, gets so high that all its tributaries and small streams that feed into it up in Wales and probably further on get backed up because the flow of the river is so intense that the streams and brooks and that, just the water won't feed into it and it backs those up themselves, which causes more flooding, the ground to get sodden again, and just more flooding damage. What you really want to help a flood go down is a really cold spell, perhaps frost or minus temperatures. It holds all the water up in Wales or wherever, while the rest of the river water goes down, and then as a thaw comes in, the ice is like a slow release into the river, and that is the ideal circumstances for the ending of a flood, a big flood like this. Let's hope we get some cold, dry weather in the next week or 10 days. Again, fingers crossed. I hate that, but I keep doing it. I can't hate it that much. Yeah, that is a sensibly built house so close to the river. All your valuables and carpet and everything are going to be safe during a high flood like today. You can see the Wrekin in the background. We did a recent video there. Check it out if you haven't already. I'll leave a link to it in the description box. Yeah, the tennis club, bowling, Crescent Bowling Club, former bowling home of Dick Merrick, greatest crown green bowler of his era. My dad has got his woods. Thought I'd tell you that. He gave him in. And the former Sevenside Bowling Club. Kind of all semi underwater. Not that it would matter that much because January is not the crown green bowling season. Yeah, St. Julian's Friars car park. Yeah, it's feet underwater. I don't see any cars parked here, thankfully. You usually get one or two that people kind of didn't realise it was going to flood and leave them. But yeah, none this year. Great news. Yeah, the pumps in full effect here at the Abbotsmead Hotel. This area has been badly affected by flooding in previous years. Just going over the Greyfriars footbridge into Colham. Yeah, again, getting ready to close the road, but well, it's closed down there, but it's partially open at the moment, Colham. And what is this? Butcher's has reopened, or it's open with new proprietors since we were last here. Fantastic to see that, along with Joachim and Boas. Yeah, I'm not part of a fraternal order. I just picked up a bit of knowledge while I've been doing research, you know. It's amazing what you learn. But saying that, I've had quite a few relatives who have though. So, you know, for me personally, I'm not very good at joining groups. I tend to work alone. A lone wolf, that's the way I am. That's why I never got on well with rugby teams and football teams and other things, you see. Too much commitment, and I like to go my own way. Yeah, really flooded here on Marine Terrace, pumps in full effect. I'm not going to tell that story again of when I lived down here and it nearly flooded, but didn't quite. Oh look, I just told the story again. Apparently the Rebrook, which feeds into the River Severn just ahead of us here, has been partially diverted. The same chap was telling me. The chap who worked for the environmental agency. Yeah, Abbey Gardens, really underwater, and the gate is locked. So that is the end of our third-rate content flood coverage for early January 2024. I do hope this isn't a sign of things to come this year, you know, setting its bench out early, but it might be just me being a bit, you know, downhearted there. And I'm not downhearted, I'm in a really good mood about everything that's coming up this year. So anyway, thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be updated on all third-rate contents going on. And if you'd like, leave a comment. I do love a good comment, and I reply where appropriate and applicable, if that's the right word. I've just got in the habit of saying that. But anyway, thank you for joining me on the tour, and if I don't see you soon, I'll see you 3 times as soon. Third-rate content sign out. Bye bye.